Hello everyone, and welcome to my The Bachelor Buzz News channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. During the first season of The Golden Bachelorette, Joan Vassos and Chock got engaged and celebrated their first Thanksgiving together. It's a wonderful conclusion to a romance that began long before Joan and Chock ever crossed paths. Joan, 61, was a widower whose spouse, Joan Vassos, 32, passed away in 2021. Joan found herself alone after their 4 children left the house. She ultimately participated in Season 1 of The Golden Bachelor and was chosen to be the first female lead in the spin-off after failing to win the 72-year-old Jerry Turner's last rose. At the most awaited Season 1 launch of The Golden Bachelorette, Joan welcomed 24 unmarried golden men, including Chock, 60. Following a turbulent season, Joan offered Chock her last rose, and he reciprocated by giving her a diamond engagement ring. After a hectic journey, the newly engaged pair is now settling into their new lives together. Thanksgiving is the ideal occasion to get their families together because they both have kids. Joan and Chock have a lot to be thankful for after discovering one another at this point in their lives. All 4 of Joan and John's children are now adults. Nicholas, Joan's eldest child, resides with his fiancée, Brooke, according to Life and Style. Allison, her daughter, her husband Noah, and their 2 kids reside in Maryland. Erica, her other daughter, is married, has a child, and teaches 3rd grade. Luke, her youngest child, is employed at an IT firm. Joan left The Golden Bachelor early because of Erica. She needed her mother because she had recently given birth. Although Joan admired Jerry, she was more concerned with becoming a good mother. Chock was married to Heather Chappell for 12 years prior to appearing on Season 1 of The Golden Bachelorette. Taylor and Tyler Chappell were the couple's 2 children prior to their divorce. To explain that Chock and his kids had come to Maryland to celebrate Thanksgiving with Joan and her family, Joan uploaded a video to Instagram. Bringing their kids together is part of Joan and Chock's eagerness to begin their lives together. They will probably be able to spend time together without being filmed by The Bachelor for the first time. Joan clarified in the Instagram post that her closet rod broke under the weight of all her things right after she welcomed Chock's family into her house. When Joan learned that her fiancé was helpful around the house, she was overjoyed. To get everything he needed to fix Joan's closet, Chock traveled to the Home Depot with the Golden Bachelorette Season 1 couple. Chock is likely more than delighted to be able to look after Joan and her house because he has been enamored with her since they first met. Joan's late husband, John, will always play a significant role in her life, even though she may have fell in love with Chock during Season 1 of The Golden Bachelorette. Joan would never really let John go since she loved him so much. Joan and her family went to the cemetery to sing Happy Birthday to John on November 27th, his birthday. As they gathered around, Joan and the rest of the family talked about how much they missed John and shared anecdotes about him. Joan seemed to accept the fact that Chock and his kids were already at her house when they departed for the cemetery, despite her candid admission that it was a little odd. Joan found that she had enough of space in her heart for both her new fiancé and her late spouse throughout her time on The Golden Bachelor Season 1 and The Golden Bachelorette. Christmas is quickly approaching, assuming Thanksgiving goes smoothly. Joan Vassos of The Golden Bachelorette Season 1 might change her mind about marrying Chock and become a runaway bride. Her journey, which began long before the 61-year-old private school administrator was chosen to be the first female lead in the Bachelor spin-off, would come to a disappointing conclusion. Life doesn't often go as planned, but she never thought she would be dating again at her age, much less dozens of unmarried guys. Before Joan Vassos passed away in 2021, Joan and him had 4 children together during their 32-year marriage. Joan cherished her late husband, but now that their 4 children were grown and living away from home, she was left alone. Joan made her television debut when she consented to participate in Season 1 of The Golden Bachelor. Joan left the season early because her daughter gave birth, despite her like of 72-year-old Jerry Turner. Joan met the cast of The Golden Bachelorette, which included 60-year-old Chock, after she was cast as the lead. They became engaged when he won her last rose, although there were indications that Joan would change her mind before the wedding. Despite Joan's declaration at the end of season 1 of The Golden Bachelorette that she had no intention of getting engaged, she accepted Chock's proposal. Joan stated she wouldn't be hurrying into marriage in an interview with CNN shortly after she was revealed as the lead. Joan continued by expressing her strong belief that before making such a big commitment, people should have more time to get to know one another. She maintained that her opinions on the subject were not solely influenced by The Golden Bachelor's conclusion. The first season of The Golden Bachelor ended in a terrible divorce, despite the great expectations. Teresa Nist, a 70-year-old day trader, received Jerry's last rose after Joan departed the season early. The pair married quickly, with a spectacular wedding ceremony that was broadcast on national television only a few weeks later. 3 months after announcing their divorce, the septuagenarian couple's hopes were raised. Joan's desire to take things slowly is understandable given the pressure she was under to lead a more successful season following the huge loss. When Chock proposed and produced a magnificent diamond ring, Joan's hesitation to get engaged was completely disregarded. Joan eagerly accepted Chock's proposal as he put the ring on her finger as The Golden Bachelorette season 1 came to a close. Joan would likely claim that meeting Chock made her reconsider taking things seriously, but the thrill might only last a short while. After the initial rush of new love fades, Joan might decide she no longer wants to be in the relationship. Before the initial excitement of a new relationship wears away for the pair, ABC needs to move quickly to get Joan and Chock to agree if they want another Golden Bachelor wedding. After Joan and Chock got engaged and rode off into the sunset to live happily ever after, the first season of The Golden Bachelorette came to a close. Soon after the cameras finished filming, the newly engaged pair was questioned by People, and they admitted that they had no plans to move in together anytime soon. Chock stated, "We will be traveling back and forth between Kansas, Maryland, and New York. We'll have a full-time location in New York, and we'll be there whenever we have the chance." Before competing on The Golden Bachelor and The Golden Bachelorette, Joan lived in Maryland, and Chock lived in Kansas. Neither of them has any immediate intentions to relocate their residences. Instead of living together, Joan and Chock would go back and forth and spend time at a shared house in New York City. While the relationship is still new and exciting, this might seem like a wonderful idea today, but it might become difficult later. The fact that Joan and Chock don't want to live together is a warning indicator. Jerry and Teresa's relationship style is also reminiscent of Joan and Chock's living arrangement. Teresa lived in New Jersey and Jerry lived in Indiana prior to joining the cast of The Golden Bachelor. They even discussed moving to a third state, but it never materialized. Neither of them wanted to go to the other's state. Long-distance relationships rarely work, and Joan and Chock might wind up like Jerry and Teresa, even though it's difficult for them to consider abandoning their lives for someone they met on a reality TV show. Chock was betrothed to Catherine Gorey for 9 years prior to her death in 2022, following the divorce of his 12-year marriage to Heather Chappell. Chock claimed that losing Catherine was the most traumatic loss of his life during their first date alone with Joan. Despite his obvious love for his late fiancée, Chock may not be able to commit due to the length of their engagement. He might be hesitant to commit because of his divorce, which could ruin Joan's life. In a clip that Bachelor Nation uploaded to YouTube, Joan and Chock got engaged at the end of The Golden Bachelorette. Even if the future cannot be predicted, it is obvious that Joan and Chock have a difficult journey ahead of them. Joan doesn't appear to be over her late spouse just yet, aside from their long-distance plans. She frequently talked about her cherished late spouse and her feelings of remorse over dating other men during her tenure on The Golden Bachelor and The Golden Bachelorette. It's difficult to think Joan might overcome her remorse and get married to Chock. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe my channel and don't miss any update.